I think just from my own anecdote, I've been depressed as a cause of my ADHD, and that's just a whole different story. But I've been going to therapy for years now, and when I first started going to therapy, my doctor suggested I started taking, depression medication. And once I started taking it, I didn't like it at all, so I quit. But my mom, my mom basically thinks that it can just be if you medicate it enough, it'll go away entirely and you'll be normal again. And it was really hard for her to, come to the conclusion that the medication is not like the final solution or just like the best idea of treatment.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also on antidepressants, and something that I've noticed is when I tell people that I'm on antidepressants, they're like, "Oh, all right," and then they kind of just like change the subject to something else. But I mean, taking antidepressants for me is like kind of like taking allergy medication, right? Like it helps me feel better, and so I take it. It's not like it's not a huge thing. I think the problem I realized after I said what I said before is not all people with depression by any means. I'm not trying to generalize at all, but like me specifically, for example, I don't want to be treated any differently, but also sometimes I need extra support. So that's the thing that can be tricky is like, yeah, I don't want people to treat me differently than they would treat their other friends, but sometimes I need to be checked in on. And like sometimes I have bad days and I need people to give me some space, or sometimes the opposite, I have bad days and I need people to, be around me a little bit closer. So it's a really difficult thing when you're talking about depression because everyone with depression is different. You can't just say person A has depression and person B has depression, so their treatment and how they act and how they cope are going to be exactly the same. Like there's no two people with depression that are going to be the same at all. So that's the first tricky thing about depression. And then the second one is what I was just talking about, is that people with depression are often, I don't want to say oppressed, but often treated differently, um, and viewed as differently. And we don't want that, but we also need things that some other people might not need. And so the fact that it's so complex makes it very difficult. And I think that the general population who doesn't have depression or doesn't know someone with depression should be more educated about it, I guess. Like I think that in health classes when we're learning about, STDs and like other, I don't know what kind of health problems, asthma, diabetes, like stuff like that, there should be a mental health unit in health classes. Just because I think that would make it a lot easier on people to understand and destigmatize depression, full circle, bringing it all the way back. Look at us, so good. So that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, and these stereotypes are like deeply ingrained in our culture, right? And they've been building for centuries. Like men have this concept in general that you have to get through it by yourself, that you got to figure out how to do it on your own, right? That's kind of your job. It's your goal in life to be able to accomplish these things on your own without support, right? Which is just inherently wrong. Everyone on the planet has someone to lean on, right? And let's just pull an analogy. If you were thousands of years ago going through the wilderness and you broke your leg, you probably would die if you didn't have anyone else to help you out there, right? It's just we aren't on our own here in this whole situation, but we as a culture treat it like we have to get through it on our own, and that's just not the case. I mean, I can admit that I definitely felt shame walking into my first therapy session because it just felt like it wasn't for people like me, people who could get through things, right? And so that's something we just need to change, that like therapy is just really just like going to the doctors.
Yeah, for sure. Erin, go for it.
Well, I was just going to say, I kind of look at like therapy is like going to the gym too. You know, if you're gonna like work out your, and to really take care of your physical body, why wouldn't you take care of the emotional part of your body? Emotions are part of your, part of our wiring, part of our brain. And so getting support from other people um, or going to therapy, reading about it, all of those are things that it's like going to the gym for your mental health. And so uh, this whole piece that we have to hide about that seems silly to me, because there's so much focus in this society about taking care of ourselves. It's just another way.
Yeah, very well put.